For centuries, African-American bodies were used in medical research and experimentation without consent. The knowledge gained from those practices helped shape modern medicine, specifically the field of gynecology.
That troubling history continues to echo today, contributing to the unequal medical care African Americans still experience. Back today to discuss Mothers of Modern Gynecology is Dr. Stephanie Hack. Dr. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's jump right in. Some may and some may not know of these wonderful young ladies that are named Lucy, Betsy, and Arnarka. Who are they, and who? What did they do? How can you explain to us how they are foundational figures?
Yes, Lucy, Betsy, and Anarcha were three enslaved Black women who were medically experimented on by a surgeon who did a lot of surgery related to GYN issues back in the mid-1800s. And the surgeries that they endured have now created medical instruments that we still use today and GYN procedures we still use today. So that's why we call them the Mothers of Gynecology.
And it's really a tough situation because these ladies went through a lot of suffering and obviously did not have the ability to consent. So how should we view them given the fact that they made these medical contributions, but at the same time went through a lot of suffering?
You highlighted the point is we talk about contributions, but it's important to acknowledge that they didn't consent to this. They did not have autonomy over their bodies, the ability to decide what to do. Their enslavers did. Their enslavers gave consent for this. And I think that's the primary thing to highlight.
And what ethical lessons does their story teach us?
So many. So in medicine, we have the Hippocratic Oath, which says, do no harm. When you don't have ethics involved in medicine, you do harm. Stories like this history like the Tuskegee syphilis study, all of those remind us of the importance of patient advocacy, of informed consent, and pain management. All of these things are necessary to provide adequate and appropriate care.
And how do these stories reflect a broader pattern of Black women's bodies being used for these medical advancements, but at the same time, them not receiving the credit?
Oh, this was a history of dehumanizing people so we could get the information and do what we needed to do to get our research out. And this story highlights that. In addition to, if you've heard of this story, you may have read the book or seen the movie of Henrietta Lacks, who was a Black woman diagnosed with cervical cancer in the mid-1950s, and her cells were used up until 2023 was when they finally acknowledged that they belonged to this woman, where they came from in her family, and she never consented for that. So there's been a long history.
And as an OBGYN, I'm curious to know how you personally approach dealing with Black women when it comes to taking care of them.
The very first thing is to validate the concerns. Everybody wants to be seen, to feel heard, and you have to acknowledge the history that's contributed to how people interact with the medical system to this day. And that's a key part of the work that I do.
And then what has genuinely improved for Black women's health outcomes over time, and where do we still see systemic gaps that need urgent attention?
We've had improvements in surgical safety. That's one area, I'd say the primary area, but we still have a lot of ways to go, a lot of things that we need to do. And as we've discussed previously, the maternal mortality rate for Black women is 3 times the maternal mortality rate for white women. And it's not because they're Black, it's the experience of being Black and the bias that people within the system interact with you based on. And so we have a lot of systemic work to do.
So why does it matter, especially for Black girls and young women, to see the women that we're talking about today and remember them?
It's important to acknowledge their humanity. That's, I think, the basis of all of it. As we acknowledge the humanity in the past and the present, we can continue to acknowledge it in the future.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Hackett. It's been a pleasure talking with you about this important topic.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for more information on women's health and Dr. Hack's podcast, visit ladypartsdoctor.com.